Great, thank you. And thank you for the organizers for hosting this event, and thank you for inviting me to talk. It's really been an exciting and inspiring conference for me so far. I've learned a lot in the last couple of days, and today is going to be no exception, I'm sure. I'm going to talk a little bit about visual science and how we use the development of visual science communication products as a tool for stakeholder engagement. That's something that we've kind of stumbled into, but we're realizing the benefits of it. To back up a little bit, though, I kind of feel like I need to describe who we are a little bit. Within the University of Maryland Center for Environmental Science, we're part of the Integration and Application Network. We're somewhere between 15 and 30 people, depending on who you include. But we have master's level or PhD level scientists, and our master's level folks have quite a bit of extensive training in graphic arts and design so that we can create powerful visual science communication products. We're a bit entrepreneurial. We're a bit like a consultancy that lives within the university. So we respond to folks who request help in developing either ecosystem assessments. A big part of our work is now in ecosystem health report cards, which Vanessa Vargas will talk about in the next session in this room. Yeah, so we believe strongly in visual science projects or products, and belief that a picture can convey a lot of information very quickly, and is very effective in communicating a lot of complex information very succinctly. For instance, this conceptual diagram, as we call it, will tell a story about impacts of fishing, cumulative impacts of fishing and agricultural and development if left unmanaged. And it doesn't take a lot of words. You don't need a lot of text to explain this story. And we firmly believe that through this, the symbology and the creation of these diagrams, we can overcome language barriers and cultural barriers and convey a lot of information very quickly. The good thing about these types of products is that once you develop them, you can use them in lots of different venues. Obviously, you can use them in posters and reports and things, but also in peer-reviewed journal articles. So they're worth investing a little time in because you can recycle them over and over again, and they're very effective pieces in multiple venues and multiple audiences. To demonstrate how we've kind of come to view these things as kind of effective tools in the development of these products for stakeholder engagement. I'll go through a couple of examples of products. And if you look at the abstract for my talk, I mentioned the Philippines work. I've replaced that with the Yucatan project because I wasn't involved in the Philippines one, but I was involved in the Yucatan one, so I'm going to talk about that one instead. And as we go through, you'll notice that, or I'll try and highlight that our focus has shifted a little bit more on, or from the product itself being the most important thing to really understanding and embracing that the process to develop those products are equally as important, or if not more important, than the product itself. The first one is the Samoa Ecosystem Health Assessment, and I've got a couple of examples of these products and some other ones if somebody wants to look at some hard copies, but I have some hard copies if people want to catch up with me later. And so the Secretariat for the Pacific Regional Environment Program, SPREP, and the government of Samoa requested some help in designing a framework for an ecosystem health assessment. And so we went to Samoa and we assembled a group of stakeholders for this, which included resource managers and government folks, the research community, and NGOs. And our goal at this point was, in this stage of our development, was really about making sure that this was as accurate as it could be, as a good product. We weren't really focusing on the process to develop it. We thought that, the process of was a means to an end, and the end was this product. And then we could use that product to leverage change. But nevertheless, the process is really fun. We make it really engaging. We get everybody working together to begin the process of developing these science communication products, or the conceptual diagram. So it starts with a sketch on the whiteboard. This is what the coastline of American Samoa, or Samoa, not American Samoa, looks like to us. We've included these features. What do you think? And people start shouting out, it's like, oh, that fishing boat, it looks terrible. You got to fix the fishing boat. That's not the way they look. Put in a seawall over here or something. And so you're scribbling around and erasing stuff, and it's lots of good fun. And then we have breakout sessions where people work on other parts of the product, including text and what data are out there to support what we want to do, et cetera. And so there's a lot of activity going on, and you get stakeholders that don't normally talk to each other, talking to each other, and it's very chaotic and a lot of fun. We take that feedback and we start to develop our product. Our science communicators will take those products into Adobe Illustrator and start to create these types of products. This is the draft, and then we have the final product, which at the end really identified the things that Samoans value in their ecosystem. These are the things that the people really found valuable. These are the things that we need to protect, and these are some of the ways we might be able to. And these are some of the threats to those values. So it's a very iterative process. It's a very engaging process, and this all stems from a 2-day workshop that we hold with those stakeholders. And as I said, that in these older projects, we were really focusing on making sure that we got the information from that group of stakeholders that we needed to create this product. We've evolved a little bit as we go. The second product, and I'll talk about as an example, is the Chilika Lake report card. The India Ministry of Environment and Forest asked us to come and help develop an ecosystem health report card for Chilika Lake, which is a coastal lagoon system in the northeast of India. And these stakeholders were a little bit broader, and it was a very exciting workshop because there's a lot of activity, a lot of shouting across the table and things. And I don't understand Hindi or Tamil, so I didn't know what was going on. But at the end of a large chaotic session, everybody shut up and said, "Okay, this is what it is," and it worked out great. But it's very fun. But importantly, we included the local resource users, and in this case, the most important ones, the local fisher people in the process. Again, very interactive. We took the information from there, and we helped them, or they helped us develop these sketches, and then a suite of products that are included in the ecosystem health report card, and including a framework for scoring the ecosystem health of the lagoon. The last one I'll talk about is the Coasts of the Yucatan report card, and this is a project that's ongoing. We started a couple of months ago with an initial workshop. We're being much more deliberate about the stakeholder engagement process, recognizing that this process creates lots of great opportunities for engagement across sectors, and really intense engagement through that 2-day process. So the first workshop we had was just to kind of indoctrinate the engine room folks that will lead the report card effort into the future. And these were mostly researchers and managers, and we had one government person there, but he spent most of his time on Facebook, I think. But the goal for this next couple of sessions will be to really broadly increase the stakeholders that are present. Again, we've identified new activities to really get the discussion going on between stakeholder groups and different sectors. This is a game or an activity we call SNAP, where people get to identify the things that are really important to them, and we can use those to prioritize things. again, a participatory mapping approach where we have different groups creating maps, and there's a little competition to see who could, create better symbols and a better looking map that was more complete. Lots of good fun and healthy competition. Again, also the conceptual diagram approach, and we were able to publish in a newsletter form the framework for this assessment going forward. So again, we'll try to broaden the stakeholder group, hopefully in the late spring, early summer, with our next round of workshops. So that's the last example. As we kind of, we engage in a reflection process, and we're really kind of ramping up our look back, our look inward on how we're doing our projects and what things we learn from them. When I look back at these particular projects, there's a couple of things that stand out. So having that group of diverse stakeholders engaged in a process to create a product is really a powerful thing. They're all in there with one purpose, to create this thing, and it creates an atmosphere of collaboration among these different groups that have never worked together before and are often working at cross purposes to each other from our understanding. It's really important as we facilitate these kinds of meetings that we foster this atmosphere of trust so that people can feel free to say what they want to and what they need to. We ask all of our participants to, in addition to representing the industry or the interest group that they're part of, we also ask them to take a step back and put on a hat of a concerned citizen. And that's actually been very effective, just mentioning that. And at the end of the day, if you have a group of diverse people that can create a framework for the future of an area, this is the beginning of a shared understanding or shared vision for what this region could be. So that's what I'll leave you with as the take-homes from our experience in developing these kinds of products. We found them to be very powerful ways to get stakeholder discussions going. And that's all I have. I hope I'm within my time. And if anybody doesn't catch up with me today, feel free to give me a call or send me an email. So thank you very much.